talking about I'm trying to create a gender divide. That's not it. What I'm really trying to do is demonstrate that there is a gender divide.
The WNBA is in an uproar following the recent racist assault on Caitlyn Clark, as it seems that being good at the game is becoming a crime in the sport. This disturbing incident has sparked outrage, highlighting the challenges that athletes, particularly women of color, continue to face both on and off the court.
And as you guys know, throughout this entire year, Caitlyn Clark has been at the center of so many controversies, whether she said something or not, whether she did something on the court or not. And that is something that we have addressed.
Caitlyn Clark isn't new to racism. Unfortunately, this has become a recurring issue in women's basketball. Whether it's players facing racial remarks or getting bullied for their skills, it's a harsh reality that talented athletes, especially women, often have to endure both on and off the court. The ongoing struggle reflects deeper issues within the sport and society that need to be addressed.
Fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism.
In her recent interview with The Times, Caitlyn Clark praised her fellow black players for their hard work in elevating the league. However, because it's Caitlyn, her well-intentioned words were twisted and portrayed negatively. Whenever Caitlyn speaks, her words are often cherry-picked and used to create controversy, especially when race is involved. But experts like Stephen A. Smith and Rachel Nichols have backed her up, recognizing her true intentions and providing a much-needed perspective in the midst of the backlash.
Time Athlete of the Year. 22 years old. She had a record-breaking season with the Indiana Fever. In the WNBA, she shattered 6 rookie records for points and assists, 4 franchise records.
At just 22 years old, Caitlyn Clark entered the WNBA like a force of nature, shattering records left and right in her rookie season. This wasn't your average first year. She set a rookie scoring record with an impressive 769 points, averaging 19.2 points per game. To top it off, she became the first rookie ever to record 2 triple-doubles, including a jaw-dropping 19-assist game.
You know that Caitlyn Clark is the Time Athlete of the Year.
Just before the year ended, Caitlyn Clark was named Time Athlete of the Year. To say she crushed it is an understatement. She didn't just play basketball, she rewrote the playbook. But of course, greatness often comes with its share of hate. After a standout playoff performance where she was injured by a foul, instead of receiving sympathy, Caitlyn was met with a hateful email full of racist slurs and violent threats. It's hard to focus on healing when you're hit with that kind of abuse. And then there's the toxic world of social media, where trolls make Caitlyn their new target. Rather than celebrating her historic rise, social media turned into a platform for attacks.
She was hit with a nasty email full of racist slurs and violent threats.
Caitlyn Clark's success has sparked a wave of racist comments, hateful messages, and disgusting behavior, much of it aimed at her by trolls who couldn't handle her dominance on the court. Fellow black players have also faced similar treatment. When people can't challenge her game, they resort to tired insults like "you look like a man," attacking her appearance instead of acknowledging her skill. It's the classic troll move, deflecting from talent to tear someone down, especially with the safety of internet anonymity.
Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total.
Caitlyn Clark has acknowledged the significant contributions of black players to the league's success and called for greater recognition and investment in their visibility. Her self-awareness about the racial dynamics at play speaks volumes, especially considering the stark contrast to how black athletes, in particular, have been treated. However, she isn't receiving the same empathy from the league. The rise of Caitlyn as a white star in a predominantly black league has sparked tough conversations about race and privilege. Even fellow players, like Angel Reese, have taken jabs at her. But isn't the real issue with the league itself? This isn't just about Caitlyn. While she's in the spotlight, her experience highlights something much larger: the racism and toxicity female athletes in the WNBA, especially athletes of color, constantly have to navigate. It's a system that needs to change.
Grown up a huge women's sports fan, whether it was basketball, whether it was soccer, whether it was volleyball, you go down the list. Like, I grew up.
Smith's comments also raise a tough question. Has Caitlyn's silence on the racism faced by her black peers been complicit? Some fans argue she should be using her platform to speak out more, while others believe it's unfair to expect her to carry that burden on top of everything else. Sports experts like Rachel Nichols have spoken up in support of Caitlyn. She didn't hesitate to back Clark when the racial hate started pouring in, stressing that as women, they need to support each other no matter what. Rachel acknowledged that Caitlyn, like herself, understands her privilege in this space, and Caitlyn isn't trying to ignore it.
She was nobody. She had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? She can't help the way she was born. She was born as a white person. She's a decent, respectful human being, a lovely young lady who goes out there and performs.
Amid all the hate aimed at Caitlyn Clark, there was a positive twist. Fans, outraged by the racist attacks, flooded social media with messages of support and defense for her. Many called out the WNBA for allowing such behavior to go unchecked, demanding a stronger stance against racism. As Rachel Nichols pointed out, The WNBA has grown largely due to Caitlyn's impact, but the league still struggles to create a truly safe and supportive environment for all its players, despite branding itself as progressive.
But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light.
The WNBA is still grappling with basic issues, like players flying commercial just last season, so it's no surprise they're fumbling something as serious as racism. Caitlyn Clark's rise to stardom has spotlighted ugly truths, like how black players such as Natasha Cloud and Liz Cambage have been speaking out about systemic racism for years with little response. Recently, DeJoni Carrington received racist threats, and Alyssa Thomas faced racist chants during the playoffs. Yet, the outrage was nowhere to be found. But now, with Caitlyn at the center, the league is suddenly listening, highlighting how progress often comes when a white player is involved. In her recent Time interview, Caitlyn made it clear she wasn't going to let the racist trolls win.
That's not it. What I'm really trying to do is demonstrate that there is a gender divide.
Caitlyn Clark boldly called out the wave of racism and hate targeting her and her fellow players, stating that no one in the league should face such abuse. She didn't ask for anyone to fight her battles but stood up loud and clear. More importantly, Caitlyn made it clear this isn't just about her, it's about the entire league and the need for a cultural shift. The WNBA can't keep riding the "we're trying" train. It's time for real action. Systems to protect players, hold fans accountable, and enforce progressive values.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats.
Fans need serious education. Trolls aren't just a Twitter issue. They're making the league toxic for players. The WNBA should implement programs to call out racism and sexism in the fan base and hold people accountable. Empowering players like Caitlyn Clark and her black peers to speak out isn't just nice, it's necessary. The goal isn't just to fix the WNBA, but to transform sports culture. Respect, humanity, and accountability aren't radical ideas, but they're missing. If the WNBA wants to be a true progressive force, it needs to start acting on these principles.
Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization.